Hello everyone, I hope you're all having a great day today, and in this video we're going to be doing a review for the first season of The Mandalorian. Disney has released a new Star Wars series called The Acolyte, and in preparation for its finale, I'm going to be reviewing some of the other Star Wars series, and then I'll have a video out where I'll rank them. And this was the very first live-action Star Wars series that was also the main kind of thing that launched Disney Plus. This was probably their #1 marketing gimmick. And it was just very smart on their part. And they were actually able to make an original character that was part of the Mandalorian creed that was already established in this universe. But the biggest cultural impact of this season of The Mandalorian was probably not actually the Mandalorian himself, but another character. Now, this character that I'm speaking of was really a marketing gimmick, and it definitely worked for Disney. So I don't know whether or not I would call this character wholesome, but the fans really like this character, and it's an acceptable marketing gimmick because it's just such a fun character. And that character that I'm talking about is Baby Yoda, who was actually referred to the child, and then later on his name was Grogu. But we all know his real name is Baby Yoda. That's what the fans call him. And I just know exactly what Disney was thinking when they made this character. They're going to make a lot of money, and they definitely made a lot of money on the merch. But he honestly made for some great memes and just a great overall character. But the thing that really stands out is the bonding between the Mandalorian and the child, the father-son relationship. Especially like the third episode when he gives Grogu to that one old man and then he instantly regrets it. And what happens next will shock you. He goes back and saves him in one of the most epic scenes in Star Wars history. But overall, I think this is just a really good addition to Star Wars that takes place a few years after Return of the Jedi. And it just has a really good setting where the entire presence of the Empire has not left the galaxy they're trying to rebuild. Which eventually, I guess, it becomes the First Order because Disney has not announced the sequel trilogy did not be canon for some reason, which would be a good idea. But there's also just a lot of great side characters that came back for later episodes in this show. A lot of good acting, the performances were pretty good, and this show just became instantly pretty iconic. And the style of this show is really neat, where there's this big overall narrative, but there's just a lot of side quests he goes on. I don't know if you would call them filler episodes because there's a lot of character development that happens in them. A lot of bonding between Mandalorian and Grogu. But it's just really neat what they were able to pull off, and it's kind of inspired by those Western types of shows. Also, Moff Gideon was really good. I liked how they introduced him in like the second to last episode, and he immediately just had this big presence. And it was just pretty amazing what they were able to pull off. Just the storytelling of this show just feels about right. It knows when to have flashbacks and that kind of stuff. It was honestly pretty good. And as I said, iconic, quotable. There's a lot of good quotes in there like I have spoken and this is the way. Also, the theme music is really good. You got to take that into consideration. I really don't have many problems with this first season of The Mandalorian, other than it does feel a little bit inconsistent on the Mandalorian's skills, because in certain scenes it feels like it's trying to establish that he's like the best bounty hunter in the galaxy, and then other times like it feels like he's just a rookie, which either way, we all know Boba Fett is the best bounty hunter in the galaxy. But because the Mandalorian is the main character, I feel like he has a lot of plot armor and people think like he's supposed to be like a really talented bounty hunter. But in all honesty, I would say he's just an average Mandalorian, which isn't that bad considering that the Mandalorians are a pretty impressive group of people who may or may not be more powerful than certain Jedi. But overall, that's just what I thought about it. I would definitely recommend this show if you haven't already seen it. And if you have, let me know what you think about it in the comments section down below. Overall, on the quality scale of 0 to 100, we'll give this a 91%. As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.